Hey guys, I'm just recording a quick video to cover congruent angles and angle bisectors. We've covered congruent segments and segment bisectors and the segment addition postulate, so now we're just going over the end of the angles. Alright, congruent angles. There we go. Of course, we can never assume that angles are congruent. In order for us to know that angles are congruent, they'll have little marks here that look about like that. You'll have your one mark. These are called arc marks. Arc marks are used to show that angles are congruent. So it's the same thing. Remember those tick marks? You have segments, and if you have those marks, y'all know segments have the endpoints on the end, but I'm in a hurry for you guys. But you know that those marks are tick marks. Sometimes you'll have more than one tick mark. Same thing here. You'll have, if you had more than one pair of congruent angles, you'll have two arc marks to show that the angles are congruent. And so, like if this angle is 2x degrees, and this angle is 10 degrees, we could find x, right? Because we know that since these two angles are congruent, you set them equal. I know that 2x is equal to 10, and then you solve for x, and x is 5. So it's very simple. It's the same thing that applies when we find that segments are congruent, but now we're dealing with angles. Alright, so let's get into angle bisector. An angle bisector is a line or ray that divides an angle in half. So here's the ray. If you look, if you follow that marker, the ray divides the angle in half. So I now have congruent angles. So this angle is congruent to that angle, okay? We could label it angle, this entire angle is angle ABC, and this is ray BD. So now do you guys see the angles? I know that angle ABD is congruent to angle DBC. Alright, so in this problem here, alright, I'm going right into an example for you guys. Here we have ray BD bisects angle ABC. I'll go ahead and label it. I did not label it at first. There's angle ABC. And it says that ray BD bisects angle ABC. So this ray BD bisects this angle, and so the result is that we now have two congruent angles. So that is the result of an angle bisector. You now have two congruent. Alright, it says the measure of angle ABD is 8x minus 20. Very important that you guys label. So here's angle ABD, and it is 8x minus 20 degrees. And angle DBC here from DBC, so they mean this angle is 5x plus 1 degrees. And what we can do is now solve for x, or I can solve for angle ABD or angle DBC or the entire angle ABC. It just depends on what's being asked. Right here I just wanted to work an example together. Alright, so since we know those two angles are congruent, we can set them equal to each other. So here angle ABD, the measure of angle ABD is congruent, it's equal, to the measure of angle DBC. So I know that 8x minus 20 is equal to 5x plus 1. Alright, I subtract 5x from both sides. And we're just going to solve for x now. So I have 3x minus 20 equals 1. Add 20 to both sides. And I have 3x equals 21. Divide both sides by 3, and x equals 7. So now I have enough information to solve this entire problem, any angle that I want, because I know that x equals 7, right? So just be careful to pay close attention to what they're asking you guys to find. All right, let's work the next problem. Ray BD bisects angle ABC. Again, I did not label it, so I'm going to go ahead and label A, B, and C. All right, so ray BD bisects, so we draw ray BD, and it bisects that angle. So it tells me that the measure of angle ABD is 6x plus 3 degrees, and the measure of angle DBC is 8x minus 7 degrees. So I know these two angles are congruent because it says it bisected it, and the result of being bisected is that now you have two congruent angles. Just cut the angles in half. So now I know they're congruent. I know the measure of angle ABD is equal to the measure of angle DBC. They are equal. 6x plus 3 equals 8x minus 7. That's why it's very important to label your figures. All right, let's subtract 8x from both sides. I have negative 2x plus 3 equals negative 7. I subtract 3 from both sides. I have negative 2x equals negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 2. And x equals positive 5. All right, so x equals 5. Sometimes you may get a question and they ask you to find the measure of angle ABD. You just go back and substitute. We know the measure of angle ABD is 6x plus 3. So you would just substitute. You found 5. I'm sorry, you found x. X is 5. Plug it in. 6 times 5 is 30 plus 3. So the measure of angle ABD is 33 degrees. So now I know this angle is 33 degrees. Since it's bisected, I know since this is 33 degrees, this angle is also 33 degrees. So the entire angle is 66 degrees. So it's just all depending on what I'm asking for. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can ask on the stream. You can email me. I am available. I am finally home, so I have more time to make the videos for you guys. I can't wait to return. I really miss my classes. You guys have a great day.